Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about eating disorders and understanding eating disorders. You're going to have to excuse my looking away from the screen so much over here because these are where my notes and stuff are, but I guess I sort of wanted to help you understand, or people understand, or show you my perspective on it with how it feels like there's another person inside of you, and stuff like that about recovery. So if you're interested, take a listen. I'm not sure how long this video is gonna end up being. I have quite a lot of notes, so yeah, anyways, it literally feels, when you have an eating disorder, it literally feels like there's another person inside of you telling you things that you want to hear and things you don't want to hear, and telling you what to do, and your eating disorder becomes your friend and the only one that you can trust. Sometimes I hear voices, telling me what to do and stuff, and I thought I was schizophrenic and I thought I was crazy, and I went to my therapist and she said, "No, honey, that's just an eating disorder." And I was totally mortified. I had no idea that that would happen with eating disorders too. So my voices say things, just like everyone else's voices say. Don't you want to be pretty? I'm only here to help you be beautiful. I'm your friend. You can trust me. Why did you eat that? I thought you wanted to be beautiful. It's painful and it's beautiful, and it's the only thing that's always there whenever you need it. At my lowest point, 88 pounds, I'd never understood a feeling of such shame and beauty at the same time. And I felt so elegant, but I felt so ugly. And it's extremely hard to explain. It's, man, I'm having a really hard time with this. It's like we fight so hard to have these bodies that we dream to have, and the bones and everything is just how you want it to be, and you're skinny and you want to show it off, but at the same time you're so ashamed to show it off and so ashamed to wear a bathing suit because you know how other people view it, and we see it as beautiful and amazing, but when you go somewhere, they're going to look at you and be like, "Oh wow, what the fuck is up with that person? That's a tweaker, a meth head. Look how scrawny they are. Look at their leathery skin, blah, blah, blah." And so I'll tell a story about, I went to the lake this summer when I was at my lowest weight. Again, my lowest weight was 88 pounds. And God, I miss that. But so I went to the lake with some friends, and that was the first time that I felt that ashamed feeling that I was talking about, and I'd never felt that. I had always been, showing off my bones to my friends and everything and feeling beautiful. And then I went to the lake and I felt ashamed, and I didn't want to take my jacket off, and I felt too skinny, and I look over and there's these girls, these beautiful, beautiful women in these like amazing, gorgeous bikini, what are those bikinis called that are like open in the back, or it's just the bottom and then it comes into the top like that, and halter tops around, doesn't matter, but they're just these gorgeous women at the lake. And I was looking at them and I was like, God, I'd kill to be their size, their womanly figure, their great size, and be happy. But I know that if I had that, even if I had a perfect body like that, I'd feel fat. So I gained up the courage, and I started to feel really confident about myself. And when I was in the lake, as I was walking down to the lake from the beach, I looked over at these women, and they were all laughing and pointing at me and taking pictures of me. I heard them saying things to each other like like what I was saying before, calling me a tweaker, calling me a meth head, calling me a freak, thinking my bones were disgusting, but I thought my bones were beautiful. So my friends covered me up, and it got so bad that basically everyone that walked by would see me laying on my towel with my ribs sticking out and my tiny little legs and tiny little arms and no boobs. They'd see me walking or swimming in the lake or walking around the lake, and they were taking pictures, and everyone was pointing and laughing. Next thing I knew, my friends were covering me up with a towel and rushing me into the car, and we went home from the lake because they couldn't take me. I was so skinny, and it's so scary because, like I said, you learn to love your bones, you learn to love being ugly, because anyone else looks at that and sees ugly, but to us it's beautiful, and every contour of your rib cage and hips and collarbones is just another check mark on your list, and it makes your heart sing, every contour. I used to weigh myself every morning and night, and if I gained a pound, I would cut myself until I passed out from pain eventually. These days I go to the doctor a lot for other problems and things I talk about in other videos and stuff. And I always, they weigh you every time, and I have to turn around and I tell them not to tell me my weight, and I don't want to see it, and I don't want anything to do with it because I just know that's not healthy, that's not a good idea. And I used to weigh myself all the time, but seeing it on a doctor's scale for some reason, made me feel horrible and fat. So the only way to recover from an eating disorder is distinguishing between you and your eating disorder, which sounds really easy, and depending, I guess, on which stage of your eating disorder you're in, but it's not as easy as it sounds. They call it the healthy self versus the ED self, ED meaning eating disorder, of course. And a lot of people hear that and think, okay, all you have to do is get rid of the eating disorder self. But that's not what it is. What you're doing is you're not getting rid of your eating disorder self. You're just strengthening your healthy self, because you know that for the rest of your life, you're never going to get rid of your eating disorder self. It's always going to be there. And so yeah, but that's how it works. It takes years of therapy depending on your stage of eating disorder that you're in. And for me, for instance, I can tell the difference between my healthy self and unhealthy self, which I'm going to do more explaining about that later. I can see the two different people clearly inside of me. I can see there's healthy Angie and there's unhealthy Angie. But I'm at the point in my eating disorder where I'm absolutely not ready to change. I'm not ready to do anything about it. I want to keep going because I want to be thin. Just like the rest of us, I want to be thin. And the rest, most Annas or Mias won't accept even a slight change until basically the point of death, which is horribly sad. So let me explain a little bit about healthy self versus ED self. Healthy self is the part of you that knows what you're doing is wrong, and the part of you that wants change, or even if you're not willing to change, you're in my situation. If there's a piece of you that doesn't like doing what you're doing, you have an unhealthy self in there somewhere, and every single person has an unhealthy self in there somewhere. Even though, my ED self is trying to tell me that I don't. So that's what the healthy self is. And the eating disorder self is basically the part of you that wants to binge and purge and starve, and the part of you that validates every reason that you have for binging and purging and starving, and the part of you that makes you change the things you hear and see, to make you think that what you're doing is okay when your healthy self knows it's not. And if there's a piece of you that knows that there's something better I could be doing to lose weight, then you have a healthy self. Most of your reasonings you'll come to realize in therapy and stuff is that most of your reasonings and things don't even make sense. And an example of that is something that I actually found really, really interesting when I went over it with my therapist. And that was how my mind regulated before she pointed out my misguided behaviors. And so the example is, I have 2 overweight parents, not obese, not overly overweight or anything like that, just slightly. And for breakfast, I'll eat, when I'm in my eating disorder, I'll eat half an English muffin and say 2 carrots or 2 strawberries or something like that. And that's all I'll eat all day long. You know, that's almost 100 calories, and my limit was 100 calories if I was going to eat that day. So I'll eat that, and later on my mom will wake up or whatever, and I'll see her eating an English muffin and some strawberries. Only half an English muffin and some strawberries, having exactly what I had. And my mind, no offense to my mother, thinks that, my mom is fat, and if she's eating exactly that, she's eating what I just ate, and she's fat, then I'm going to be fat too, because I'm eating exactly what she's eating. And so I purge the food, or I don't eat at all for that day. And my therapist brought me to the point of realizing that that's not the only thing that my mom eats all day or anything. You know, she doesn't only eat the half an English muffin and the couple strawberries, but that's all that I'm eating. And so I had to realize, that's true. My mom, she eats lunch and she eats dinner and she makes smoothies and she, snacks throughout the day, and my dad does the same thing. And it was crazy, and my mind was really pissed off that I had learned that. My eating disorder self, that was not something that it wanted me to learn, because I went home and there was a lot of cutting and a lot of throwing up that night, I guess we could say. So, but yeah, it's kind of like, how can you possibly get fat? I mean, how can my mind, I don't know why I said that. I don't know how my mind could have even thought that whatsoever, that I could get fat from eating the same thing my mom eats when, she's eating more than just that. But I mean, I couldn't register that. My mind would not register that. So I have to say right now is, if you want change, go get change. If any little tiny piece of you wants change, go get that change. Go get help right now. Turn this video off right now. And go to a doctor, go to a therapist, go to your family, tell them you have a problem. Do something. Just stop right now and go get help, because once the monster takes over, there is no getting better. Once that other being inside of you takes over, it's done. You're done, and it'll be years of work after that. There's a million better ways to lose weight than binging and purging or starving, bulimia, other, eating disorders, stuff like that. There's a million other better ways. You can eat healthy, you can exercise, you can take diet pills, you can do anything. You can do anything you want. Just go get help if this is something that you're in. And I don't know. Another thing is with bulimia. People think, bulimia is just eating and puking, but it's not. You lose control so fast, and that's my problem is bulimia. You lose control so fast, and you start to binge. And when I say binge, I don't just mean eating more than you usually eat. I mean binge. You scarf everything down in your kitchen until you're going to explode. And because your body is so used to eating so much and throwing up and eating so much and throwing up, you don't even get full. You don't get full anymore. So you can literally eat everything in your kitchen and not get full and go throw it up. You can't control it. You lose complete control of how much you eat and what you eat. And you'll say, I'm just going to eat a few crackers. And then next thing you know, there's no food left in your kitchen. And if you're not at that point in your bulimia yet, if you have control, even the tiniest bit of control, please, God, go get help. That's all that I want from anyone is to get help before you go crazy, and before you start thinking thoughts that aren't yours, and before it leads to the depression and the anxiety, and because that's where that's all leading to. It's leading to you going crazy. That's what happens. Every single person with an eating disorder has to deal with this extreme depression. You go through it and you feel ugly and you feel lonely, and the only thing you have is your eating disorder. So if you're in this disease, I'm sorry for you, but I am here for you, and I do understand. And I hope that you see that you're not alone. And so if you have a Tumblr, I suggest, you follow me on Tumblr if that's something you're into. You can talk to me on there. You can write to me. You can just see my posts. Same goes for YouTube. Either way, my usernames are Skinny Angie, SKINNYYANGIEE. I hope you guys liked my video. Again, if you have any questions or comments or ideas for other videos, or need support, lack of support, need to know, how to talk to a parent, how to come out of the closet, so to say, with your eating disorder or anything like that, I'm always here. I'm here to talk to you. I'll write you back. Anyways, I hope you guys have a lovely day. Thanks for watching.